Hello, greetings, musical television. This is musical television Cribs. But I wanted you to focus. I wanted to talk about musical television Cribs first before I actually show you Crib, because I wanted to explain the concept of it. Okay, not while I'm showing it. That's why we're talking first. Okay. If you have a problem with that, just skip ahead. Um. So, the general philosophy of my apartment is to because I live in a condo, I don't have as much space as somebody with a big house and the garage and the basement for storing the attic and everything. So I have to, densely pack everything and like hang everything from the walls and have lots of Tupperware and shelves and stuff, and just as much walls, hangers, Tupperware, and shelves as I can. So there's basically no area on the wall that isn't occupied. Now this room isn't like that because this is my guest room that I'm trying to rent, that I've been trying to rent, but I can't rent it because the only people I get interested in this room are anonymous types who I don't trust. So but if this was my room, I'd put like stuff on the wall. Like I had a roommate here before once and we were talking about maybe putting like shelves along the ceiling, the whole ceiling to store stuff. But so basically, so it's that, but also with plants, I want to have like so many plants in here that, like, everywhere you look, it's plants, so you get the impression that you're living in, like, the jungle. Like, it's kind of like the spirit world. When in the spirit world, you can create, you can manifest physical things instantaneously. And so you could, if you wanted to be in the middle of the woods, you're like in the middle of the woods surrounded by plants and beautiful plants and trees and animals all over. But at the same time, you have your nice little flat area in the middle, and then maybe all the anemones of modern day culture. So you would have like a TV, so you could be hanging out in the middle of the woods with a TV there, and it's perfect temperature, and maybe it's raining everywhere, but not where you are. Like you died and went to heaven. So try to recreate that on my in my own little condo, and yeah. So I also covered like the entire walls with all of these plants, and so if I'm going to keep the plants alive, I also put the like lots of maximum light, and also to make me feel like I'm outside, right? Because I want to feel like I'm outside in the jungle. And if you're going to feel like you're outside in the jungle, you need to have like outdoor light, like big time hardcore light. And for that, just have to have lights all over the place. And also, and it kind of reminds me, like I've had dreams. I remember I had a dream once. It's bizarre that I can remember dreams better that I had like 10 years ago than the big dream I had last night. But like, yeah, I had this dream once where I guess was visiting a parallel universe or something, but it was like a bubble city. And it was actually a really small area I was in. It was like a bubble over like a neighborhood. And the neighborhood had its own bubble over the whole neighborhood. So it was a collection of maybe 20 or 30 houses. So the houses didn't have roofs on them because they didn't need roofs because of the bubble. And, people trusted each other. So that you didn't have to worry about people climbing over your wall into your house. So if you can fix the trust issue, and you don't need a roof because of the bubble, like it just had this vibe of this really open, cozy vibe, and everything was open, and like you could also like push a button and make your walls like clear, so then it seems like everybody's together looking at each other and talking, and it was really comfy, and so it kind of reminds me of that, like I want my apartment to feel like it's outside, because it kind of makes you feel like your home itself is outside. And I think that's a concept that people are kind of getting more and more into now, where you just have like really huge glass around your whole house to let the light in, and if you see around, look around, you know, to feel like you're actually hanging out outside, but you're in a house because you have all of the weather controlled. So yeah, that's kind of what I was. It kind of reminds me of that dream. So yeah, and then I have like a whole bunch of like bicycles that I recently bought. And so I just wanted to show, you know, the best way to organize bicycles is by hanging them on the wall. And then just show where all my other bikes are and stuff. So, without further ado, let me give you a tour of my apartment. Ooh, and all the different concepts, okay? So we'll start from the outside. And maybe I'll do this room first. So this is the closet. And these types of, this was in here when I moved in. Like my brothers put that in or something, but I think that's really cool. You just have a whole bunch of those up, and then you can just store all of those. Even on the top, it goes all the way across. But when there's not on the top, I have these guys to hang everything. And you can even hang super heavy things like this. This is heavy. As long as you screw it in. I was hanging that in without it screwed and it fell. But even on the side, you have the hangers. And then I have that little pad to put those weights. I use that when I'll show the weight outside. I haven't even started working out yet, but it's all ready to go. That's a pull-up bar that I can use for stretches and stuff, but I bought a real pull-up bar after that. But these are these little like wood, the little rubber stretches things, workout things that I was gonna practice with. So those are hung all along the side there. And these are my leather coats. But when I get a roommate, I'm gonna have to move some of this in the basement and in my room. But so yeah, this is also to show for rental. This room is for rental. So this is the room. This is the bed. You get your own refrigerator, and you get climate control. That's my car. So you get climate control. So if you're like, because you sleep right here, you can just, if it's a little bit hot, you just move it here, a little bit more hot, move here. If you want all the coolness here, and it gets really windy, so if you want to get blasted with wind, you can do that. And so that's really cool. And then you can do climate control with that, turn on your fan and cool you down even more. Oh no, we're gonna run out of juice. Oh no, whatever, we'll splice it together. And then light for extra light, and you can turn it on right there. And you get your drawer and your bedside lamp, organizing there. Air conditioner for the summer. 5 of those drawers for clothing, and then a little bit of artwork. Nice clean, bare walls to not drive you crazy, because the outside's totally different. I have my little wall mounted calendar there, my computer, and then the little swivel chair, and like the cloth drawers. These are pretty cool. And you can also put that underneath the table if you want it closer. So and then 2 rugs, and so it's a nice little size. You can have the nice red tree out in front, and you can even see the top of Mount Sanitas. And yeah, and you can maybe even a little bit of the Flatirons too. You can see more Flatirons from my room, but yeah. So oh whoops, did I just film that? Anyways, so now we go outside. So here's the workout thing, and there's a pull-up bar. Now I was inspired, all of these little figurines on the top, by the Romans. The Romans had you know, statues lining the tops of their buildings, and so these are all you know, for all of their ancient leaders of their society, Julius Caesar and telling the story. And so we have our heroes, Iron Man and Spider-Man and Silver Iron Man or whatever, Robot Guy, and Black Widow and Black Spider-Man and Super Iron Man and Superman and all that kind of stuff. You have the little tree guy, and yeah, and then a pull-up bar. And the way that I designed the pull-up bar is by just going through the entire door, and it does pull it through, but it's on. This is all on metal. It goes through the actual metal. So I'd be kind of surprised if that punched through. Maybe if I were to do it again, I should have used much bigger, because you can see how it goes way in. Much bigger washers. But, you know, I can hang my whole weight on here. 185 pounds. So yeah, I'll actually straight up pull-up bar to do real pull-ups without worrying about falling off like that other thing I had. And then the little thing here to do it with. And then, look, pulley system. So you can do all kinds of stuff with this, dude. And you can do a lot of weight on it. All kinds of stuff. Like you can go in here, way in this room, from this angle, and do that. Isn't that groovy? So I think every house should have one of these, dude. These things are freaking awesome. So, let's start from the outside, okay? You have one of these. And one of those, and so welcome. This is the entrance. Now I do have a sound activated thing here that whenever you walk in, it goes ooh, ooh, ah, 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 ooh, ooh, ah, ah. But my mom like went nuts and made me turn it off. But I thought it was cool because it gave me the like the impression that you're going into like the jungle with the monkeys, right? Like, and so I have all of the doors lined with little figurines like the Romans do, and even on the top here. Like how people show the animals that they killed hunting. Got all the animals, effigies up there. So then as you go in, you have your hallway. And I have all of my educational posters here. So we're marijuana, acupuncture, muscular system, stretches, hand shiatsu, reflexology, oh god, and ferret shit. That's another essential part of living here, is you're always stepping in ferret shit. Okay, yeah, start over. So, at least they're pooping on the rug and not on the wood, because their poop and pee is destroying my flooring. But yeah. Anyway, there's a family generational family chart that I'm going to turn into a mosaic actually on my deck one of these days. With the help of that's going to be the spiral I use to trace it off of. But then I have like here's a timeline, a dinosaur timeline, map of Colorado, and so you start with your hanging your stuff there, and I have like these all glow. Everything glows at night, so you can have fish whenever I get around to it. I have a bunch of fish, and these have filters, so filter fish with heaters and light. So I had to take all these down, and that's why it's all destroyed, because they had to redo my electricity. But yeah, you have 3 fish tanks here, and then 2 more here, 5 fish tanks. So you enter in and you have like 3 plants. Oh look, and a little ferret comes and says hi. Hello, little guy. See, you have your friendly little ferret, the natural world already coming in. See, these guys are never in their cage. Never, never, never have a ferret in its cage. Ever. Don't have any animal in their... In fact, don't have any animal in their cage. I'll talk about that later. But so 3 plants, another plant there. That's probably one reason I'm not going to be able to get a roommate. Another plant there. This plant's like 3 years. No, that plant. These 2 plants are like 3 years old because they get all the light they need from there. Yeah, they used to have flowers, but they're still alive. And then, yeah, these 2 plants here. I don't have the money to replenish the plants, so I'm not going to have plants. I don't know until how long, but like, you can put plants up there, all here, and then, here, let me just give a tour of the whole house first. So, oh God, oh man. Before I did this video, I should have made sure he wasn't pooping all over the place. Oh man, booby trap pooper. Ugh. Okay, so here's basically the apartment, okay? There's the deck. Okay, so now let's just do it piece by piece. So, yeah, I got the mushroom, poster, got the different lineages of animals poster here, and that's for like a spider or something, praying mantis, some kind of animal whenever I get around to it. And we'll talk about animals, okay, later, because a lot of people like to have screwy ideas about keeping pets, and I'll address that. So, yeah, you have the dirtless plant up there, a little spinning light. This is for like a praying mantis or something, whatever needs that size, and with a mirror, so it feels like it's in a bigger area and it has a buddy. They all have mirrors behind them, every single one of these, and then another one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You have four cages for animals there. See, I'm hoping I can, and then 5. I'm hoping I can like manage all this stuff once I get organized. And then you have all those plants on the corner there, because they would be fed by these lights. And then these plants are doing really well, because they're literally, for a while. I don't know what kind of plant these are, but these are the kind of plants you want inside. They do really well. And then this one too is doing really well. So when you get lots of light, lots and lots of light, your plants are going to do real well. And so this place is set up for the nighttime too. So that glows at night. I have those starry night thing glowing for the lights on the top. And then I have another one there. And then I have 2 more here. So the entire ceiling is just covered with like stars. So let's talk about the tree first. So I wanted to feel like I was in the jungle, and also for my birds to have a place to perch wherever they want. So this mimics a tree. So I'm in the middle of the jungle, right, is the idea. And this is the tree branch that goes around the entire house. And I originally built it so that my little ferret could maybe run around the top of this, until I realized they'll fall and get hurt, and they're not climbers. That's why I had this. I thought maybe they could climb up here. And then they get up here to get to their cage, but no, they're not climbers. They're not tree animals. They're little dirt animals. And that's where I store some extra things, random things. Yeah, and this has its own light from the top. They all have their own light, and it can be doing for the day or night. So blue at night and like white during the day. Yeah, they all have one. Except for this one. What happened to this one? Huh. I guess they were sharing. So, and then there's the guest room. Oops. And here's my bedroom. We'll talk about that later. And so in the bathroom here, this can double as a grow room. So there's your marijuana light. And you would put the marijuana plants here so you could continue the jungle here. And that's why I have the reflective around the edge to make it a grow room. And this is also a grow room. This is my closet. And I actually had a whole bunch of plants in here until a couple of days ago, but I ditched them. because I was having trouble quitting weed. I kept cannibalizing my own plants. So I'll wait until I'm thoroughly done smoking and then I'll start growing again just for fun. But I have little shelves up here to store extra stuff. On the wall, there's my grow light, and there's a fan above it to keep the circulation going for the plants. And the plants go great in here. As you can see, little ferrets, they follow you around everywhere you go. This little guy will be alongside us the whole time. So in the bathroom, I have it jam packed with stuff. I have Matchbox cars here, and I'm gonna eventually organize them based on how fast they are on the quarter mile of all the ones I have, and I'm gonna have a list that I print up, and it has all the data, like the car, the year, the quarter miles on time, and maybe top speed and everything. And so starting from the fastest, and then it goes just like this for all the different cars I have. What's this? Yeah. So and then I have like the motorcycles on the side there. So there's 1, 2, and then I have fish here. The other fish here died. So I only have 1 fish here now, but those are like Soleil's fish. So and then above I would have 3 more tanks of fish here, which I don't have any fish in there right now. So I have 5 tanks out there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tanks. And then you have more cars here. And then this is my Irish Spring Soap, which glows. In fact, maybe I can give you a demo right now. Is that the one? It has to be the right light. Better turn this light off. And yeah, I don't know if you can notice, but those are glowing, and the foam even glows. The camera doesn't really pick it up, but that stuff freaking glows. Irish Spring glows. It's really cool. So, and I'm pretty sure that was the one. Anyway. So, there's your more cars. Then you shave there, and then you have even more cars. Cars. So there's 1, 2, each of these has like 56. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 350 or something cars you can organize from fastest down to slowest. So then you can look at them and compare the cars as you're having the shower. It's a fun little thing to do. And then take them out and play with them. And then you have your door mirrors here. And these are just the little plastic ones that are glued on. So it's not too heavy for the door, but you still get a mirror for the entire door if you want. But I also hang stuff there. And then this is like glow. So I'll paint this more when I have the time. But when I turn the lights off in here, the whole room glows like at night. Those little aliens can glow. Have your your naked girl. And I'll get another girl when I have the money. Those are expensive. And then this little mushroom glows. And this paint glows. So yeah, and then you have lights even come down on the shower curtain. You have the lights. Here, I'll show. Dun, 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 dun. See? Ha ha ha. Isn't that cool? And so then you have the moon, which can glow too when you're in here. So it looks really freaking awesome at night. I designed this to be really cozy and trippy at night. It's a great place to have like a trippy party. And so let's continue. Let's continue.
So you have plants here. Here's your tree. So the tree goes all around. I have human heads there for my. I originally got those for my studio for stand-ins because I don't have friends to stand in for me to hook up my studio. So then I put them in here to be like my buddies. But you have a tree that goes around here. Except for there. These are for superworms. And then those are for like mealworms. So when I ever want to feed my lizards, when I have a bunch of lizards, you have a whole colony of dubia roaches to go off of, so you don't have to buy them. And so here's where there's just a plethora of plants whenever I have the money. But I'm gonna put a cage here on top of this for my bearded dragon I want to get one day. And then the bearded dragon can walk along the top of that. And then down here, because you'll just encase it in its own cage. And then he can go walk down here and then hang out with the ferrets. Like literally face to face. Hang out with the ferrets. And then maybe even have the bearded dragon kind of walk on the other edge of that and all the way down there. I don't know. But no this far, because the birds like to hang out on there. So here's my tree, so the birds get to hang out. It's the pretend tree, so it goes all the way along there. And all the way along here. And then it goes here, along the top. And then along the edge here. And then it comes across the middle. And so the birds always have somewhere to hang out and to fly. So that's why they fly around so much, because they can fly wherever they want, whenever they want, and hang out. So here's where my birds are currently. This is the yellow one. He's kind of the odd man out. He's been by himself all the time, but they love hanging out on the bicycles. There's another one, and then you have two more here. These are the two new ones. These are the two younger ones, and those are the two older ones. And so they're all talking. Ooh, I just almost stepped on my ferret because they literally have to be like under you all the time. So there's the tour of my tree, and then I actually have a tree. Okay. So it goes all the way to the ceiling, touches the ceiling. I've had this tree for like 8 years or something. It's been doing great. The ferret's always dying to go outside. So I'll show you what I do to keep the ferret from being able to go outside, because when I built this, I had to put a new one to these in, because somebody come and stay with me, one of my YouTube viewers, and his dog attacked my brother's dog, was outside, and broke my screen. But when I put the screen in, I didn't put the latch, because I didn't have the ferrets yet. But then the ferrets, they open the door. So, and I don't know what I did with the latch. So what I did was I bought one of these. And just put it here. I chopped it off on the edge just to size it right, and that keeps the ferrets from being able to go out. They were poking themselves through there, so I just had to like fix it up and fortify it until ferrets couldn't get out. The only way that I knew that they'd be able to get in and out was just by watching them and seeing if they can do it. And so they can't do it, so we're good. So, and I can't have the ferrets go out because they, in fact, I'm even going to let them go out here because both of my ferrets have escaped. And they escape by like climbing up here and somehow climbing up there and then getting on here because they like the dirt. And they play on the dirt and then they fall. And when they fall like all the way down there, dude. And the last time the one fell, he had a limp. Yeah. So they've both done that. And then I had to call, and I had to pay $150 because they gave him cancer surgery to get him back. But here's how I organize my deck. So this deck is organized for people to hang out with. You could have one guy hanging out here, and so you would hang out there if you want privacy. If you want to just sit back and relax with privacy, you can hang out here because nobody can see you. And And you have your own table here, which is totally solid and secure, not wobbly, to put whatever you want. And it's got the cushions here. That's a water fountain. If you ever want to have water flowing down, these little figurines. And it's like not that well organized now, but there's my air conditioner. But down here, oh look, we're about to run out of battery. I'll just film it until the battery dies. But down there is my toolbox. Now let me show you how I organize the toolbox, because everything, and that's like a little soldering kit or something. I can't remember. That's, yeah, like a soldering kit or something. This is my bike pump and trash, but this is my toolkit, and it all relies on Tupperware. So, and like, I have so many Tupperwares that are a bunch of Tupperwares, like, don't even have anything in them. So that's how much space I have. Like, having a tiny apartment like this doesn't, and this is how I would label it, like screws and washers. It doesn't have to limit your storage capacity. So you just have, like, you know, organize everything. I have all my drill bits, and there's steel wool and wrenches and Allen keys and stuff. And they just have their own one, and they all fit in there. So, and I'll show you later how everything is like based off of these Tupperwares. And so, yeah. So then I have a nice hammock, which is set up like a chair. And so in your hammock, you could put 2 drinks. You can have 2 drinks in your hammock, and then a whole bunch of cool stuff. Store your weed in here or whatever. I have a bracelet in there, a rainbow bracelet. I should put it on. Rainbow bracelet. And there's my little rascal trying to get out, but he can't do it. So, and if I want to do a video, like a YouTube video, I can sit here and I can have this guy hold my video camera, and I can just sit there and talk. Or I can sit there and like watch something on my phone. And then if I want to read or whatever, I have a light. This actually fell off, so I'll have to screw it back on, but I have a light here that can illuminate me with the daytime or the light time here. And I can charge up my phone there. And this one has the same thing. It has the YouTube. I can do the whole thing right in front of me to hold the camera if I want to talk to the camera, to do a video or watch a video. And it also has its own light right there. With the daytime or the blue light. And oh, you can actually have 4 drinks. Look, and then another drink here and another drink here. So I can be the keeper of drinks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all this stuff. And so this is the seat that you would hang out in. You could talk to that, hang out with that person. It's like a hangout area. Or this is where you would hang out when you want to look around. And you actually have 100% privacy here too. Nobody can see you. But you can't see anything here if you just don't want to see anything. You can be there, but yeah, like this is really cool. Like in the springtime when all of these bloom, you're just surrounded by trees everywhere, and then in front of the trees you have the plants. And so let me show you how I organize these plants. So, well, first you can see I lined the entire inside with a mirror to make it look extra big and spacious. And I'm eventually going to put the ground is going to be mosaicked with rocks, stones, with stone spiral, glowing stone spirals, and each stone would like represent another ancestor, because I have it built out of that ancestor list, and so maybe I could etch in the ancestor or whatever. And so yeah, so for that to be illuminated at night would be really cool. Glowing rocks illuminated by my lights. And so this is how I utilize fake plants. I utilize fake plants with real plants. So these are supposed to make it look like there's a vine. You have a nice flower there. This is to make it look like you have a big vine here that grows up and goes along the top there, and even down, even around, twisting around here into the bottom, and then down the edge on the side here, and then along the edge here, and then down. So it goes perfectly in with the real plants there. And then I have some nice decorative stuff up here. Yeah, I got these at the Asian liquor store. It's not open anymore. I think there's a pretty good price. Yeah, and so here's my light for the deck. Here's the control for this light up here. And then you even have a light, and it doesn't work anymore because it got, the birds chewed it away. But it looked really cool. I had a light that that was illuminated the bottom of this all along here. And so I'll somehow, maybe I can splice it and fix that. I need to, it's kind of sagging a little bit there, but it goes around the edges of the entire window. And not just that window, but that window. Both windows have it going around the whole edges of the window. And then along the top too. The top there, and then the top there. So at night you can like illuminate the glow things here. In here is just filled with Tupperware. That's actually not clean. I need to put those rags back in a big thing. I have a big thing with nothing but rags, a big like basket. And then this is more, you know, Tupperware and stored stuff things in there. Here's a pool that I can use with little rocks in the bottom that I can throw my ferrets and my lizards in the summer to have their little pool, swimming pool. Here's where I store my bike rack for working on the bikes, and my vacuum cleaner, and then I hang like a wetsuit here, and here's my wheel truing tool, and like tape is here on this thing that I can hang another light there, and here's a spotlight if I ever want one. Can't remember why I bought that spotlight. I think I thought it was gonna like illuminate the whole area, but hello, I ran out of battery, so here we go again. I must have talked for a long time this morning. I don't remember when the battery died, so I'll kind of rehash. So yeah, so here's my deck. There's my pool for the little rascals to swim in if they want to, and here's, you know, the desk with extra stuff to put in there. That's just loaded with Tupperware. But what I was going to say was that this deck is also designed to hold 3 bicycles. So I have my electric mountain bike, which I store in my the trunk of my car because it can fit there because it folds. It's a can't remember the name of it, but it's really cool. And so I would just get the charger, which is in one of those Tupperwares. See, that's a smoke building machine. I have another smoke making machine over there, so I can have all this smoke come out with my little lights coming down on top of it. I could have like glow parties at night over here. But yeah, Tupperware, all those things have to have different things in them. Yeah, so I would just put my electric bike there, the rear wheel there, and the front wheel there, and it's totally out of the way, and it can get charged at night. So that's cool. But let's show you how I do the plants, okay? So this is just a regular, you know, deck. And so what I did was I attached these wooden decks around the top, like this, just solidly, so I could just plant plants next to each other, you know, put a separate plant in there where they come together. Now to make sure, and then it goes all the way across, okay? And then on the outside, I screwed in extra ones on both sides. So when you have all these big plants popping up, you have just all this extra plant, and it's so beautiful when they're all here. Just all that thickness of plants just on your deck. And like, especially when I'm hanging out here and I'm looking out that way, it's like all these plants, three layers of plants over here, and then on the other side of the plants is all those trees. And there's so many trees, those trees grow in that you can't even really see the apartments on the other side. It's just tree.
right? And the plants in the tree, it's so beautiful. And then you get this tree here, and I've seen like raccoons come up and down this tree, like right in front of me. So that's pretty cool. And then, yeah, and then you can see that's Mount Sanitas right there, the top of Mount Sanitas. Here, let's see if we can zoom in some more. You can see the tree on the top of it even. Yeah, so so this is a cool hangout area, and then it has so we can have 3 bikes. You can have the electric bike here, and then I have my dirt jumper here. That's my dirt love that I just put together, YT Industries. And then I got my 20-inch or 24-inch wheel BMX bike here, my red line for the little half pipe over there across down the way. And then I have my mountain board here, and then my longboard there, totally out of the way. And yeah, and so there's my deck, jam-packed with this thing here. The little rascals aren't trying to come out because they probably got tired and went to sleep. So over here is where I'm going to keep my axolotl. I'm going to get an axolotl whenever I get my shit together. And so that's my axolotl cooler that cools the water for the axolotl. And these are glow rocks, so the axolotl gets glow rocks. Axolotls are like little aliens, dude, and they're almost extinct, but they're in the pet trade because you can breed them easily. They only live in one lake in Mexico, an alpine lake. They might be extinct by now in the wild, but and they are so cool looking. But the cool thing is, like, when you're hanging out here at night, you can look in here and you have your axolotl right in your face as you're hanging out in the deck. And over here too, I'm gonna have like frogs. When you're hanging out on the deck, you can have your frogs in your face too, surrounded by the glow light. Yeah, and okay, so in here, here's my tree, which I've had like 6 or 7 years or something. It's doing pretty good. That's my fountain. I like to have flowing water around all the time, and also my ferrets like to drink out of it. But, now these are my humidifiers. Whenever I get another, if I ever get another tegu or anything that needs humidifier, you see the tube there. I can put a humidifier there, and then 2 more humidifiers there. So 3 humidifiers going at the same time. You can have it, and the humidifiers stick it in, and then they pop it in, and all 3 of them get the smoke out on the edge and the corner. So it bounces off the wall and then comes back, and it creates a layer of like smoke that comes down here and then hits that wall and then curls back up and comes back around, and it just stays. It makes like a little like pool of like humid water there that doesn't escape and get out here. It just hangs out in there, and it was perfect for my redfoot tortoise and my tegu, because my tegu and redfoot tortoise were hanging out on top of each other, like using each other as pillows. They were best buddies. They were hanging out with their heads next to each other. Like, it was so cute. But then my roommate insisted that I get rid of him because he thought he was going to get salmonella, even though the tegu was already here when he moved in. Yeah, and then he moved out anyway, so don't let your freaking roommates bully you into moving. This is your house. He didn't bully me. He convinced my mom, and then my mom convinced me. My mother loves to side with other people all the time against me. It's one of her personality defects. But and I also had a bunch of plants back here that were growing. It was just thriving because I had extra lights from the top, and they were just loving, like the ferns. You have the ferns in there, and the ferns just grow really good because they're just constantly covered with the smog or the smoke. And back there is a cave that my tegu would hang out in, and then dig even a hole under there to be cool underneath the water. My Savannah monitor likes to take dumps in there in the water. And the Savannah monitor is under there right now, hangs out under there all the time. But my tegu, get this is so cool, dude. Like, so in the morning I would get up, and I'd have my ferrets locked in their cage, but I'd get up and my tegu would be there, just sitting there, like that, with his head there. Basically like, are you going to open it, right? So then I open the door, and then I get this thing. And I hung this thing here. So it was a ramp. So then my tegu would just walk out, down the ramp, and then just hang out in the house and walk around the house. So, like I said before, none of my animals are in cages. Well, that included my tegu and my tortoise. So I'd grab the tortoise and I'd like let the tortoise walk around the house. That's what one of the things that freaked out my roommate. He didn't want to have the animals running around, which I thought was insane. I thought he was only 27 years old. I thought young kids are into cool, like dinosaurs running around the house, but apparently not. So yeah, the tegu would choose himself to come out. I wouldn't take him out, and come out all the time. He was hanging out in my room for like 3 days when I grabbed him to get rid of him. He was like 2 feet, 2.5 feet long, red tegu, really tame, really nice, groovy little things. So now all I have to do is just pour water in here on the dirt, and that's enough humidity for the Savannah monitor. But that's originally a fireplace, but it's big enough for a tegu and a Savannah monitor and a Savannah monitor and a tegu and a redfoot tortoise together. Yeah, I got a mirror there. Have a little museum piece there, giant calculator. That's cute. And then I have figurines up here. For some reason, they're all facing that way, so I have to fix some of those guys. But it's just different workers, different jobs: astronaut, chef. And then up here I store my volleyball, and then look, MMA clothing. I have 2 MMA hats. I got those over at the thrift shop the other day. 2 entire suits, MMA suits, for like $80. There's the hats, and then this is all filled with like the rest of the suit, the foot pads, the chin, the arms. It's cool. And then other stuff. So, and then I have 2 Tupperware. So here's the main bird cage. I have it hanging there, and on top of the bird cage is where my perch for my video camera is, so I can do the video camera down here and film myself working out from up there. And you can see the top of the maggot asshole. Right here, and he's only 5'6". That's about as high as I can kick. That's about as high of a maggot asshole's head that I can kick right now, because I'm not that limber right now. But you can adjust the bob dummy to be 6'6", and so I can kick him and punch him as much as I want, because this is fixed to the ground with 21 wood screws that go deep in, do about I don't know, like 1.5 centimeters or something into my wood floor, each one, and then I Loctited them all each. So it's 21.5 of those Loctited, and then it connects to here with a hacksaw blade that goes around the entire thing tightly. And so yeah, this ain't gonna go anywhere, and it ain't gonna bounce, and it's also filled to the absolute rim with high quality sand that's never gonna clump together. So it's totally secure there. And so when you stand this guy up really high, 6'6", this thing goes with it, and then so then you can play basketball. And so here's where all of my little toys are my little basketballs to do it, and then my darts and my glowing juggling balls and frisbees for frisbee golf, and my hand thing. It's good that I'm looking at these, because I didn't even know that I had this stuff. I haven't even started working out again. But yeah, hacky sack, and so that what you can do is you can stand here directly to behind here, and you can do darts. You can play darts right here. Or you can sit here and play darts there. So both of the people, that guy could do darts and he can do darts. And so I have Velcro on the wall to store all of my different various remotes for all the different lights and stuff, to save space and to be able to see everything. Just jam-pack the wall with everything. I have this little catch thing that I got, and its counterpart is over here. And so here is like the main area. And so the idea is when you're hanging out here, you're in your nice little area surrounded by nature, you know? Like, and see, look, See, the bird can hang out wherever they want. He can be way over there. He's like the loner for some reason, but see, they can just, he hangs there sometimes. They can walk back and forth on that, hang out on the tree, on the tire. But I also see them walking back and forth here. So they get their own little ground to walk on. And they're also flying all over the place all the time. So they're really athletic and healthy birds because they're free and they have lots of places to perch. So here's the hangout area. So here's my table, and I can store a bunch of stuff in here if I want, like whatever stuff I'm working on. Like I have to register my bikes. I'll do that on Monday. And extra cables or whatever. And then this is jam-packed with Tupperware. So each one of these has 2 of these Tupperware. But on top of the Tupperware, you also have, here, I can't take it out with one hand. Ugh. They're all fixed in there. So, just a second. Okay. So on top of those Tupperware, each one of those Tupperware gets one of these guys. And it's even empty because I don't even have enough stuff to fill up all my Tupperware. So that's what I mean. You can store as much stuff as you want, even in an apartment. And I could maybe, you know, designate some of these Tupperwares to the roommate. That way they don't have to put like cardboard boxes. I had a roommate who put a cardboard box full of stuff right there for like 3 weeks. And, you know, if he didn't have enough room in his room and wanted to start storing stuff in my living room, he could just take it out of the cardboard box and put it in the Tupperware. But like, so you have those Tupperware and then 2 of these, which go on top of it. And I can't do it with 2 hands, so I'll just put them in and it'll show. But, okay, so when you pop the 2 Tupperware in, it's all fixed in there, solid. It won't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just stuck. So you have that set that I just showed here, and then another one here. So you have 4, and then the same thing on that side. So you have 4 of the big ones, and 8 of the little guys in here, and not even including that. So you have like tons of storage capacity. Now I'd want to put like light stuff in here or not pack it too much because I have to drag this thing on and off. Because so like I can hang out here and like if somebody couch surfs, this can be used as a bed. This is a perfect bed. So I would hang out here and I can put my legs on this table and then watch the TV. So that's an 80-inch TV, which is like 10 feet or something from where I am. So it's the perfect size. It's like a movie theater size. And then, or I can hang out here and talk to somebody, people hanging out. I like the idea of couches on either side. And if you look at the wall, I'll just give a tour of the wall from here because I'm in a good position. So that's where the tegu cage is, and I like it where all the animals interact with each other. So the ferrets, who are sleeping right now, right there, or having a little bit of a nap, can these little guys can go in and actually interact with the tegu or the savanna monitor, the redfoot tortoise, directly. Even touch noses, like actually smell each other and breathe each other. I do have currently a little blocker here though, so because I didn't want the humidity to get into there and make their shit smell bad. But they don't poop in there anymore, I don't think. They only poop around the house, so I can take those off and let the humidity come in, and then the little guys can actually interact, like whenever they want, like when I'm not here. And also the ferrets, and I'll show the ferret tubes. So the ferrets hang out in that cage. So if I want to put the ferrets up, because like my mom doesn't want them out or something, you just put them in there, you close the door behind them there. And you know, and so they can hang out there and like watch you and be part of the social life out here by being with us on ground level. But they can also have their water there and their food. But if they want, they can go up this thing and go up here and hang out here and get more water and more food as they have, and hang out with the birds. Because the birds hang out on top of the bikes and stuff, and so the birds and the ferrets get to be right next to each other. Or the ferrets can walk along here and go to this other cage and hang out up in here and then watch the whole house from up high. And they have another water bottle there and more food, and so then from here the ferrets could then walk up through that tube and go to this cage here and interact with whatever animals here. So my mom doesn't want me to get me now because I don't have my money, but for 30 bucks I could get a Rex bunny. And so you can keep a bunny rabbit here. And so I just put 2 cages next to each other to create one big cage. And it has 3 different levels. So the bunny or the guinea pig or the chinchilla or the hedgehog could run up and down and get his exercise, and then I would take him out and have him run free whenever the ferrets are asleep. You know, obviously you wouldn't keep him in something like that all the time. But the bunny and the ferret can actually interact next to each other here. Isn't that cool? When I'm not here. And here's another bird cage if I wanted to get another bird. I had 2 doves in there before, but my mom made me give them away. So I could get like maybe like a parakeet, or I mean like a cockatiel or something, and keep it in here. But as of now, and there's a little bird bath there and more plants. As of now, my parakeets hang out here all the time though. So this is one of the places where they fly to when they perch. So it's cool to have places for them to fly in every single corner of the apartment, so that they can fly all the time in every single different direction. So that's really cool, and all the time too. You know, like not feel apprehensive about flying. So then I started light stuff up here. There's like a stretch ball there. There's a remote for like my helicopter, a little globe, an axe, nunchucks. I've got 2 nunchucks there, and then sticks, fighting sticks, just to play if I ever want to get into that. Those birds have been eating the crap out of the nunchucks. They completely devoured my remote control airplane until it didn't even exist at all. And I didn't realize how quickly they did it. This is a bummer because it was fun to play with, but it was only 65 bucks. But I flew it with my mom once. It was pretty fun. But then I have the little guns to shoot stuff like on the Bob dummy for target practice, and then squirt guns too. And so this hangs from the ceiling, that bird cage. These things hang from hooks that are on the wall. That hangs from a hook on the wall. And so, and then I have more stuff hanging over here. Scoop for scooping poop out. That's a leather belt that I have with these little juggle balls in there that I put in the belt to help stretch my butt and my hip. I can lay down on it and do like acupressure on myself on it. And then here's more of the plants on the wall. And so here's cages. Look, so axolotl. Frogs are going to go in there. This is set up for one of those snails. Those like, and this is debatably a little bit too small for one of those snails, but if you set it up with 2 layers and stuff and you take care of them, I think they'll be okay. I can't remember what kind of crabs, like what kind of crab are they talking about? I can't remember. But, and then this is for the sand lizard, the sand skink that lives under the sand and swims around the sand like it's water. Here's for like a snake. And here's for like another type of a scorpion, I think. And so this is for when I'm like I have my shit together, you know what I mean? And I have like I'm organized and I have like a system set up where I can take care of my animals every day. But you know, it's not as hard as you'd think because if they all eat the same thing, you know, you just breed the animals the food for them together, and then you just feed them all at once. You just dump them all in, and then they're good to go, right? And just fix all the water together, you're good to go. So it's not really that much more work than if it was just one. You just do them all at once and be organized. But so let's talk about the ferret cages. So the ferret goes up here. So this is 3 cages that they have in this room, but then they can go into this room. I mean, actually, it's 4 cages that they have in this room. 1 cage, 2 cage, 3 cage, 4 cage, with all connected. But then through there, that little tube right there, you just walk through, and that actually has air coming out. So they like to hang out there and feel the air. Push them. Huh? What just fell? Yeah, but anyway, it pops in, and then yeah, it pops in there, and then they get into that cage right there, which has food and water, and then they can walk behind my TV. There's a 70-inch TV, because when I live here, this is where my mattress goes. And then if I don't want to have a mattress in here, I would just get up in the morning and put the mattress there. That's where the mattress is now. So then I can just convert this in just an instant to a workout room. So you have your rowing machine, which I haven't gotten into using yet. You have your treadmill, so then I can treadmill and do Strava treadmill, or watch movies or whatever, treadmill with the 7-inch TV. And then I have a big mirror there. I like mirrors. There's my little jiu-jitsu dummy that I was gonna play with. I haven't done too much with, but he has this thing on it just to keep him together so he doesn't bust open, but also to carry him around. Here's my stereo. It goes back there, and with the different speakers and stuff. And then I have even like a little like thing there to put stuff. I have like images of like athletes all over, and some of me too. But as you can see, these lights on the ceiling are for super illumination, because this is a studio. That's why I had those heads to help set up the people in the studio. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights that go along the top and the middle, so that I can hang out here, and then I have the light all in my face, you know, or there, and all light in my face. And then I have another light there, one in the corner there, and then in the bathroom there, it's like gazillions of lights. And then I can even shut this all the way down to completely cut off the light. And so the ferrets, so they get to go around here, and then they get another cage there, and then they go up in here, they get to go along there, and they hang out in there when it's super cold. If it ever gets cold, they can just use that as an insulator. And then there's the other cage, so they can hang out on that cage when I'm riding my bike and be with me there. And then they can continue along their journey along that cage and go back out, so they can do a 360 in the room. Or when I have that open, which is always open unless I don't want them to be free, then they can come back down into the room this way. And sometimes they can jump down, or I just put them up there, and then they just run back up, and so they can do the big circus. And so I have this bench press, so I can do squats. I have my foot positions there for the squats and the bench press, because I have my bench literally right there. And oh, whoops, am I showing porn? I have a bunch of naked chicks here too. I hope I don't get in trouble. But yeah, my backpacks are there. I got a video camera there just to when I stream, I can connect whatever video camera just for the push of a button, and I'll show my studio pretty soon. But there's a video camera. Gonna have a video camera there that's connected with the cable. Get video camera there. Video camera there. I have a spot for one there. I have a spot for the video camera there too. That can film me if I want to film, and a fan from the top to spin around my little beanie hat. A little beanie hat there. It just spins around from the sound. And then there's my little outfit, my little dagger, and then all my little belts for when I become my own martial artist. I got those at the thrift shop the other day. So here's my bicycle. I got the wheel there and the bike. And so here's my bike. And so this is set up to go right on a real ride when I'm ready to. This is a water bottle right here. And then you suck the water out of this guy here. It just goes here. And then whenever you want water, you just suck it. And it sucks through from the water bottle. But then I have 2 more water bottle holders here, and then a water bottle holder here, and a water bottle holder here. So you have a lot of water. And then you can put the food in your back. And here's a pump also. And there's a rubber thing here, but I don't put that there because of the ferrets. It's over here somewhere because the ferrets will chew on it. But so here's my studio. So here's my little stream deck or whatever you call them. To put in the extra videos that I have. Here's my soundboard. There's my stream deck there. And that's where I have a mouse whenever, because this is also doubles as a desk. Like if I ever want to just do a video and just control the buttons, like if I'm going to do a high quality vlog video, this is where I would sit. So I have a chair. That's a chair. So I just take the chair out of there, I put it here, and then I sit here and I have the mouse there, do the mouse around. I have a computer here, which hooks up to all the different cables there to connect to the studio. There's my TV. There's an extra screen, and there's an extra screen. And then you have fans for when I ride the bike. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 fans across the top there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's a speaker here for my main system, because there's 4 of them around. One speaker there. The next speaker is that one, and then you got another speaker there. There's right there. There's the subwoofer, and there's the 4th speaker. So yeah, so I can ride my bike here and look at the TV, like watch movies or whatever I want to watch, YouTube videos, or work on my. And so when I work on my computer, this can be my main screen when I work on the computer. And then over here, I have another Stream Deck. So here's one Stream Deck, and then a big Stream Deck, big Stream Deck, small Stream Deck, soundboard, switcher. And then the video holder, I can't remember what that's called, but this is my whole studio. This is like world-class studio. You have a microphone here behind that. I'm going to have another microphone here for what I can do out here to do there. I have like 3 different microphones or something, 5 different microphones all over. Then you can push the button to direct them and then hang the earphones there. So there's four fans, and then a 5th fan there, which powers differently. 6 fan, 7 fan, 8 fan, 9 fan. So 3 fans along the side there. And then 3 more fans there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 fans, dude, all blasting me. If I ever want to do this in the summertime and stay cool. And then you have the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4 lights in here illuminating this whole inside area. And then another light up there. So that's where I store the yoga mats when I do stretching. And up there, this is going to be where my iguana, I'm going to keep my iguana. So make a cage there that goes up so the iguana can catch up here, climb up that. And this whole area, from the window there this way, is going to be all of the iguana's cage, from there all the way to the ceiling. And that's why I put those mirrors there, so the iguana can have like mirrors in the background. And there was another layer of mirrors, another mirror down there, but it broke. I accidentally broke it because I was trying to reach something and I didn't realize, and it snapped, but whatever. But that's cool. Hanging mirrors, like feathered like that. So the iguana can hang out there, but then the iguana, I'm going to have, I have chicken wire to make cages, go down along the mirror here, and I didn't peel this off. I'm going to peel this off later when I have the time, and it'll be actual mirror, but you have a cage going down, so the iguana can walk down the cage to the end and then interact with the ferrets. The cage is going to touch the ferret cage, so the ferrets can touch all the other animals. So the iguana can go up here to the end there, and then go around, and then go down here, and then up here. So it has an entire cage network on the ceiling, so it's like it's living in the trees in its natural environment. I have a swim machine here. So swim machine, bench press, squat, row machine, little jiu-jitsu dummy, big TV with the treadmill, and then the biking here. So this is like a full-on exercise room, and I can put the computer up here. If my back hurts from going down there, I can work on the computer up here. And I can also store stuff up here, like my meals and my extra water and everything, so I don't have problems storing stuff. So this is actually the perfect design, I think, for a bicycle table, because you can have everything down, even with a studio built in, everything down there, and then another table on the top to hold it all. And that's where my little crazy creek is that I got the other day, or the little camp seat, because I supposedly got a job. They said they're going to hang out there doing that. I have a little table there to hold stuff above here if I ever need an extra, like if I'm in bed and I want a computer up here to look at the computer while I'm looking at that. I actually have 2 of those. Here's my file cabinet with extra file stuff there. All of my clothing. And then in here, I have these hanging from the top, from the ceiling for extra storage. So I have one of them there that has all these here. I'll show you what I have this thing. So this thing here, that's just to stuff and store all these little extra things. And I have another one there to put like pillowcases and socks or whatever, random stuff. But then I have 3 layers of stuff here that go from the ceiling. So I have one with 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then another one there, right? And then I have a fire escape here that I can dump out that or out of there if I ever have to get away from a fire or something. I can play basketball there, and then here's my printer, and so this is jam-packed with where I put my clothes along the side, and my clothing. I mean my shoes. I pack shoes all the way up in here, but I also put them on the wall, so I can hang a shoes wall there, shoes on the wall there, another one there, another one there, another one there, and there, right? All lined with like naked muscle chicks. So, yeah, another light there, light there, light there, and there's a video camera. So it's like every single corner has a video camera. I've got like tennis racks there because I have a tennis court here. And so that's my bedroom. And then on the bottom, on the floor, this is like a shag rug that glows. It's like bright green, so it's supposed to glow at night. And well, it's for green screen because everything's painted green to make everything blend in. And I even have these huge green screen blankets. So I have one here to cover things. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And so this is designed to cover the entire wall. So I can cover everything but the TV, everything covered here, everything covered there, that entire bookshelf covered, the whole wall covered with the window, this entire wall covered, including the mirror there. And that's a mirror that actually opens up and holds stuff behind, so that's a cool storage mirror. And currently I'm storing stuff up there because I don't have any guano, but yeah, another mirror here. And yeah, but you can cover the entire wall and then this entire wall. So when you turn around and look at the whole thing, it's nothing but green screen covered with tons of light so that you can easily just green screen everything. So I could be swimming here and it look like I'm swimming in water. Or I could be rowing here and it looks like I'm rowing in water in a boat. I could superimpose a boat on top of it. Same thing with running here. So that's pretty cool. And here's where I store my bench for when I do like bench press and over here, or dumbbell bench. And over here is where I have a bench. I mean a whatchamacallem, the shelves. But on the bottom it's lined with a little Tupperware and then big Tupperware, and then I have some other stuff there. And over here I have another shelves here. And if you open up those shelves, it's just nothing but Tupperware. And then Tupperware, more Tupperware with water bottles, and then it's the water bottles up there. So the entire house wall, like every single square inch of this place is covered with something hanging from the wall, or Tupperware, or a shelf. So here's another shelf here. This is where I have my movies. And they're all organized by time, and I even have them labeled. So it says what movie it is. No, it says what year the movie was made. So they're in their spots. So you start off like way, way, way back here, 80,000 BC for Clan of the Cave Bear. And then it's Quest for Fire, which is 40,000 BC. And then it just comes on along the line. So I have all these movies. I should take this book up and put it somewhere else because I liked having this clear. But yeah. Movies, 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 and then going forward in time, more movies, 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 movies. I should get rid of that weed, that pipe. I'm not going to smoke that anymore. But down here, more movies, 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 and then down here, books. And then so the bottom two, I have two shelves for books. Yeah, but they're the best books. Here, maybe I should show you which books I have. Hey, oof. So like night watching, kayaking around Colorado, Edgar Casey, what else? Sports nutrition, just different. There's the Bible. There's the family Bible. It's like 200 years old. There's my grandfather holding me. There's me as a kid. Native American Myths and Legends, Jane Roberts, Nature of Personal Reality, other Jane Roberts movies, books. I should have kept all the Jane Roberts books. I feel like an idiot for throwing some of those away. But and cookbooks, got cookbooks, piloting in the sea, and yeah. Oh, Atlantis by a guy. My mom gave me that. Yeah. So, and then of course Tupperware on the bottom. I have two humidifiers in case I want to have like extra like plants and make the plants happier. I have a humidifier there, and then that blue thing back there is the other humidifier. So, but I'm not using them right now. Here's where some of the ferrets eat. They have food everywhere. Every one of their cages has food and water, but then I also have food and water here, and then they can have a poop and pee here. And this also collects like mud and like sand and snow and water that comes down if I ride in the rain. The tires can drip down and get in here and not on my floor, but there's water for the ferrets, and my mom wanted me to put here's the poop and pee, but they never used it. Then they can drink that water. Here's where the dumbbells are, because I can do the bench there and lift weights there whenever I get around to it, and watch TV and stuff. And then here's like a stretch ball. Here's a little ladder, personal ladder, to access the things up high when I need it. And I'll show you the circulation in this room. So in this is the couch. This is what it looks like on this side of the couch, and so you can actually watch TV from here, because the TV aligns perfectly inside of that. Inside, and this is the same height as my. I deliberately did it this way. This is the same height as my eyesight. So when I'm looking at this from natural eyesight, the TV fits perfectly in the that dirty mirror. I should clean the mirror, and then so you can watch TV from here. And you know, it's just reverse, but it doesn't matter, and it's big enough too, so two people can watch from the same thing. And then you have actual more mirror that covers the entire wall, so I can watch myself work out. And watch TV, or watch the TV and myself work out. And so here's the couch. But the couch has its own light in the middle, but also each person has their own fan. So that fan is directly above that person, that fan is directly over that person. One thing I didn't realize though when I put those there is that the birds like to hang out on the fan, and they're kind of like ferrets. They follow you around and they like to hang out on the fan when you're hanging out here. So then they poop, and they can poop. And so they've pooped on my face. I have a YouTube video of one of them pooping on my face, pooping on my forehead and my chest, and luckily it hasn't fallen in my mouth, but that was kind of like a side effect I never anticipated, birds pooping on you. But yeah, each person here gets their own fan, and I here get my own light. I'll show you the different lights that I have in here. So it's two lights in the hallway there, and then another bright hallway just around the other edge. And then there's that light. You got three lights in here, that one, and the other one on the other side. There. And then it's that light with three light bulbs, that light, that light, that light, that light, that light, and that light. And so it creates the effect of you feeling like you're outside when you're in here. And as far as fans go, each guy gets their own fan here, but then you get your own fan here. You sit here, and there's a fan coming up from the bottom that can blast you, and then at the same time that fan comes from behind you and blasts you. Yeah. And especially if you have these two fans going at the same time, it can bring the circulation in, and yeah, it never has to get too hot. And then you can even have the air conditioner on here. And now if I ever get too many birds in here with their feathers and stuff, I have an air purifier here next to my air conditioner there, and I have another air purifier in my bedroom here. So I can store a bunch of stuff that goes all the way to the end, and that includes that air purifier right there. So it's totally out of the way. Uh-oh, about to run out of juice on this one too. So there's that room. So now I'll show you what the little hamster, the other animal. So here's the hamster. He has his big giant 40-galloner here, and then he can walk up here, and I saw my little hamster do it all the time. And then he can hang out up here in this thing. Here's his little house they hang out in. And then he comes up here, climb up there, and then run across. And then come over here. He can hang out way up on the top up there. Or you can go in here and hang out there, and then come down and hang out in this one, and then come up and even hang out here. And this is where I can grab them if I ever want to play with them. And they hang out here a lot actually, so I can always open them there. My last hamster died here though, because he got stuck. So you have to make sure to, is that my Savannah monitor? I thought I heard hissing. Oh, that's just a saw or something. But anyway, yeah, so you have to be careful to extract, because after he died I extracted all of that, and I extracted everything. All of it was packed in here, so I had to dismantle that and get it all out of there, and the whole thing, because the hamsters are just going to pack it, and there's no way to get it out. I guess in nature, like nature flushes it out naturally, these things, and the hamsters don't have to worry about it. But so now I have to become nature and be the person who cleans these out for the hamsters. Otherwise the hamsters will die. I didn't realize that. But so here's my table. I can bring this down to make it only this part as being a table. And then I have Tupperware just jam-packed in here. There's 2 Tupperware in there. That Tupperware and that Tupperware. And this one has 2 Tupperware, and on the other side it's jam-packed with Tupperware. So I just have I have so much. I have way more storage space than I need. Those are like the records for the dumbbell stuff I was doing a long time ago when I was working out, so I can look at those and compare. That's to put stuff with the Velcro, and then there's the other wall-mounted calculator, flat irons, more plants. I have a little this for this pin stuff, and then the little whiteboard. But yeah, plants are more. I have places for plants everywhere. Up here, up here. Here's where I hang all of my cleaning stuff. So here's all my bags, and here I have 2 big things for recycling. So if I buy stuff at Costco with all the cardboard boxes, this is where you can put the cardboard boxes, and it can store a lot. I have a big square there, that one there, and then here's your trash, which fits all perfectly here. And then so here's more cages. Here's for a leopard gecko, which I don't have any right now, fish, and then I think I'll put another type of like crested gecko, or like some kind of gecko there, and then I'll put a crested gecko here. So I have tons of cages. If you wanted to count the cages, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cages, 14. This is going to be another type of gecko or something. And then 15. I'll put like a tarantula down there. So 15 cages for 15 different animals. And then you have the ferrets running around and the birds. So you're like literally totally surrounded by nature and plants. As you can see, it's just plants all along there. You got these plants here along the sides. Plants going all along the sides of the mirror. So it's a cool way to frame the mirror with all those plants. And then the plants up down there. All those plants there, that plant there, and then I got a sword there, and there's my antenna for my TV up on the side. And then I have the little figurines, and these guys look really cool at night because there's a light on the back side of the TV that illuminates the backdrop. So it looks like they're like, you know, getting lighted from the back. So it's all the same little figurines lining the whole top of the TV. That looks really cool, like especially at night. And some of them fell off, so I have to glue them back on. I glue this one back on. Yeah, it's really important to do a really good job because time can really destroy stuff. And I glued that one on with the help of a zip tie. So yeah, so as far as like Tupperware goes, like look, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tupperwares there. I've got the 8 Tupperwares there, or the actually 12 Tupperwares there. I got 4 more big Tupperwares there. Oh look, my little hamsters, or the ferret's getting up. I got 4 more Tupperwares there. That's like hamster bedding right now. It's actually 5 Tupperwares. Whole bunch of Tupperwares there. All the Tupperwares up and through there. That's all packed in with Tupperware. 2 Tupperwares down there. Even down there. So every single square inch of this place is occupied, you know. And if I'm gonna do what I want to do, I'm going to have to liberate some things, but then I could use the Tupperware to store it there. I had my little globe there, but something happened with the magnet. It wouldn't hang, so I put the globe on top of that. But this, Anyway, so the battery died, so I had to use the first camera again. So anyways, what I was talking about was, you know, I'm utilizing the walls as much as I can. But yeah, if I run out of stuff, I can just put in Tupperware. Oh yeah, my globe. So the globe wouldn't fit there, so I put it there, and so now I just put a plant there. But the plant's doing really well. It's like the light inside of that thing takes really good care of it. But on the wall, I have, as far as the stuff that I have is the refrigerator, air fryer, I put the tea there, dryer, rice maker. I have a butchering thing. I don't butcher meat thing that I got from my Tegu when I had it. Popcorn, juicer, hot water, all 3 different water filters, blender, coffee maker, microwave, and then I have washer dryer here. And then I store all the washer dryer stuff up there, and then I can hang fruits and stuff up there from that thing. And then I store all my water in the bucket on the top of that. And my drill is behind that. There's where I put my dirty clothes. There's the hamper right next to the washing machine. That's like Grand Theft Auto map. Down here is the stuff for this. Like this has its own filter, and for like the water spraying. It has its own water spray timer for here and there for both of these. Works for both of them, and it's stored right there, which I haven't gotten around to doing. You know, this place is set up for fixing later, but that's where I store my protein powder and all the extra like fish stuff, and like extra spices are all up in there. And I made this this thing here so it doesn't fall off the front. As you can see, the little ferrets have to follow me around everywhere I go. They're my little buddies. Yeah, and so then all the cabinets, there's nothing really original about how I store stuff in the cabinets, other than it's just Tupperware. Tupperware. Oatmeal. I got enough food in here to last me for like a year. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, here's on the wall. Here's where I have the 3 different kinds of things for cooking. On the wall, mirror in front of the cactuses, which I think these are dead by now, but here's where I store my bird food and rice and popcorn up on the top there. I have a little stirrer that I stir my protein powder with. These plants didn't last very long because I forgot to pick them up. I wasted like 15 bucks. I got 3 of those. I got the water plants, but whatever. I'll get around to that later when I have the money. Here's a coffee grinder even, and another one of those plants, and another one there. 3 of them. They're all dead. It's a bummer. Anyway, so and another one here. So I've got a bunch of the water plants, a bunch of the dry plants, and a bunch of actual plants. So this is set up for like a gargoyle gecko, I think. So the water is supposed to get pumped up from the bottom there, and then it goes here. And then I designed it so that the water sprays out there, goes in an arc, and then falls on top of a thing here into the water, and so it always has water flowing. And the little gargoyle gecko can hang on the side on this thing, and like with like real plants, and it's going to be like a totally awesome garden over there. So anyway, that's for whenever I get around to it. Who knows when. See, I set this up for like lifetime, so I can be an old senior citizen and living in here and occupying myself throughout the day, keeping the apartment look like perfect. Have people come over and they'll be like boggled by how freaking like well maintained and interesting my place is. I like top peewee. So here's the 4 birds are hanging out together with a little ferret below me. He follows me around everywhere I go. But yeah, they're being quiet, but they usually like to talk. If I start, if somebody else were in here to start talking to me, they'd probably start making a whole lot of noise. They drive my mom crazy. So yeah, another sword back there. These are swords I found when I was, somebody gave me when they moving furniture. But so here's my bicycles. So I have 5 bicycles on the wall there, and they're totally out of the way. Totally out of the way. They're only a little bit in the way when I want to get to my books there, but so it's 5 bikes, and then I have 3 more bikes here, and then I could have 3 more bikes here, and then the bike in my room. So the bike in my room is 1, 2 electric bike, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's a Klein Rascal. That's a Fuji, Mount Fuji, single speed mountain bike, which is 23 pounds. 23-pound mountain bike. There's my slopestyle bike. That's a BMC, like Dirt Fox. So, yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 11 bikes in my living room and my deck. But they're not even in the way, because those guys are totally out of the way underneath the cages. So you wanna align cages so that they're underneath. You know, utilize vertical space. So you have everything stored on the top, but then you have the cages, but you have 2 cages, and underneath both cages are 3 bicycles with a whole bunch of stuff on the wall. Like there's my guitar on the wall. There's like my shoulder massager on the wall. There's like a punching pad on the wall that I got at the thrift store the other day. My little ramp for the Tegu, you know, so it's just perfect use of space. And then here too, you have a ferret cage, but directly above the ferret cage is the hamster cage. And then you have a bunch of storage capacity there. And then above those 2 cages is the bird cage. So 3 layers of cages here. And so I have, let's see, 11, 12 with the bike in my room. So I have 12 bicycles in my apartment. And then, like, if I have a roommate, I think I just asked the roommate to keep the bike in their room because there's no more room. That would just be in the contract. And then I have 5 more bikes in the basement. So that's 12 plus 5. I have 17 bikes. I have a recliner, a single speed, which can turn into a fixie, an old stump jumper mountain bike, and a commuter road bike with a rack on it. That was my electric bike with my Copenhagen wheel on it, and then my old road bike, my old steel road bike from forever ago. That's actually in the basement because I'm not using it because the crank is rubbing right now. So the chainring is rubbing. I need to fix that. So anyways, so that's my apartment. We can do a quick walk through it. It actually looks even more amazing at night because everything is glowing. Right? Imagine when all this is glowing and it's like fish flying, swimming around. This is where I had my marijuana plant, but I gave them away because I kept cannibalizing them. But I didn't think I already showed that. So then you walk in, and then it's the workout room, the bathroom, then it's the living room, with the kitchen separated by this thing, which has 2 cages and even an arrow grow. Oh no, we're about to run out of space on this. So yeah, you got an arrow grow, which I've never used, but that's the spot to go. So you know, you can have a big old plant there growing really fast right between, so you're always looking at the plant there. And there's another place for my extra helmet. I have 3 helmets, 2 really good ones, just to have a backup. Oh yeah, there's my little harp. I have a harp that I bought. So I have instruments all over the place. I have a really nice flute in my bathroom. I have a harp. There's a drum. There's a bongo drum back here. Yeah, that's a bongo drum. And guitar. So harp, bongo drum, flute, guitar. And a violin. I have an old violin. So there's like 5 instruments. I could start a impromptu band in here if I ever wanted to. And then more places for the plants there. And then that bucket is to hold water because I have a little computerized system to water all the plants. If I ever wanted to tweak that and see if I could figure out a way to have it automatically water the plants, and then I never even have to worry about that. And I even have another one up here. This big bucket here connects to, on the other side, it's going to connect, give cables out here to feed all these plants. So that I don't even have to worry about it for whenever I get around to it. So this apartment is set up for me to make the apartment look like a party apartment. Like if I wanted to throw a party at night and make it just look really insanely impressive, it's set up to be able to build it up that way, and also set up to build up to make experiments, like watering experiments, to see if I can water, have it automatically water, and then I don't have to worry about maintaining the house as much. Be like a a self-managing house. And so I can kind of compare it to Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse, Pee Wee's Playhouse, because he has all of these like animals and plants that he lives with, and all these inventions that he has, and gizmos and gadgets, and it kind of seems like that. I had a roommate here once who had friends over, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's like Pee Wee's Playhouse." It's the first time I saw that, but yeah, in this room I actually already even have strips of light going around the edges to help with the light. That's controlled by that guy there. So that's basically the philosophy of the tour of my apartment. Now I can just jam pack everything in here. You know, one of these days I will count how many Tupperware I have, and even maybe calculate the storage capacity from the Tupperware, and even how much money I spent on them, because it's freaking expensive, dude. Thousands of dollars probably just on Tupperware. That's why I'm $50,000 in debt. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that the IRS is trying to make me double pay and kick me out of my apartment, because I can't pay to stay here, because if they do that, because too much, because you know, this is the reason why you should own your own apartment, so you can set it up for life and have a life. You know, otherwise you don't have a life. You're just like a slave. The difference in the modern day, the difference between like a slave and a free person would be whether or not you own your house, so you can personalize it, you know, and not worry about getting kicked out and like, where am I going to put all my stuff? You don't want to buy stuff and not having where to put it or anything. Anyways, it says 0. I'm about to run out of time. That was my apartment finally. I'll do another video really quickly, I guess, if I want to get a roommate, something quicker, but I'll do timestamps on this and everything. Anyways, talk to you later.